It's the Friday evening phone in on Talksport. If you were listening just before the news and sport at midnight, you would have heard the caller from Hampshire who tried to put together some sort of an argument based on, I believe I quote him accurately when I say the country is being bled dry. That was more or less precisely what he said, by a group of individuals who, like a lot of people, he referred to as these people. And he said that in today's Daily Telegraph, it said that hundreds of thousands of immigrants came to Britain last year. But he didn't have the paper in front of him. It was round his mum's ass. Or somewhere. He was paying for the call. He wasn't going to get his facts right. He didn't need facts. He certainly didn't need his facts to be right. He had an opinion. And that was what he cherished. Well, listen, fella, let me tell you again. We people, we cherish the facts first. And then sometimes we entertain an opinion which we are happy to change when new information and new insight comes our way. But if you're somebody who cherishes your opinion first and has no regard whatsoever for the facts, you're never going to want to change that opinion. You're never going to have any reason to change that opinion. Because when new facts come along, you'll be just as immune to their impact as you are to the half-digested facts which you consume in order to create that opinion. I've got the Daily Telegraph in front of me. Hundreds of thousands? No, fella. You see, no. Last year's total of less than 100,000 entrants. Now, when you pitch up, you've got a view, and it's based on a report in the newspaper which says hundreds of thousands, and you haven't even read the number, and it's a simple number to remember, less than 100,000. And if the guy had come on and he'd furnished an opinion which was backed up by a simple statistic that was accurate, okay, and that was accepted because it was well evidenced in a quality newspaper, okay, then he at least is going to get to square two in the game. 08700 40 50 60 is the number. Been a lively Friday evening phone in on Talksport so far. Been talking asylum seekers, as you do, the homeless, football, and some Barnsley miners fished me out of the English Channel one Saturday night in Brighton, where I'd been on an attempt to have a drink in each of the pubs along the seafront in Brighton in celebration of somebody's 21st. I don't remember it too well, but apparently I was swimming between the two piers at around about 1 o'clock in the morning when some Barnsley miners who were in Brighton for the NUM conference fished me out, realised that I was not well, took me back to their hotel. And in Brighton, if you're taken back to a hotel by a bunch of men, you're never sure which way it's going to go. But these fellas put me to bed in one of their beds because they realised I wasn't well, and the miner, whose bed it was, slept on the floor. I've never forgotten this. For a complete stranger who he'd never had a conversation with because I was completely incapable of having a conversation. They gave me some scotch from the hotel bar, mini bar, because I don't know why they gave me some scotch, but I remember they told me in the morning afterwards they got me out, realised I was very cold. That was it, I was cold. So they gave me some scotch and some of their fags and put me in their bed, and the guy slept on the floor. I mean, these are blokes. You know, these are serious blokes. Yeah, good lads, Barnsley lads. 08700 40 50 60. Football, refugees, the homeless. Suna now calls from Edmonton in London. Suna, good evening.
I stay there and look after that lady 1 week. Now, they receive £30, which is voucher, where you can only do the shopping in different shops. And there are shops, not every shop that accepts them. And then they receive £20 a week cash. Now,
you see, Suna, what is important is this. When a person has experience, hands-on experience, has shared a room with, for whatever reason, and like inhaled the same air as a person or a group of people who have a set of experiences, then you're qualified to talk. And you are qualified to talk, and therefore your views are doubly or trebly more valuable than the snippy little guys that you get on a phone-in show wanting to go on about these people bleeding the country dry.
The funny thing is, Tommy, I teach English language to refugees. And I advise my students to listen to Talksport because I say then you can hear different accents, different points of view of this country's people. And I am rather, right now is what, nearly 12:30, I'm working and I'm listening to radio and I feel that my students are listening to this program, trying so hard to understand. They're practicing their English, they're trying to understand the people of this country. And I am just thinking now, what am I going to tell them tomorrow?
Well, you can't hide them from you can't shield them, protect them from certain facts. And in any country, in any culture, there are people who will leap to unpleasant opinions for whatever reason. And if you're saying that sometimes you hear those opinions on TalkSport, I would argue to you that is performing a service so that we all know just who we're sharing this planet with. Mm-hmm. And how much work there is still to be done with a great many of our innocent and uneducated young. For it does, well, not always young, but does often seem to be people who haven't been round the block yet who are worried about their job. Sooner, I want to bring somebody into the conversation whilst you're still with us. Mm-hmm. I've just been asking whilst I've been listening to you, the switchboard, whether we've got anybody waiting to talk on this issue who wants to say a famous phrase sooner. It goes like this: I'm not a racist, but... Oh, you heard that one before.
Me... I heard it millions of times.
Oh, yes, we have. Let me bring in Emily, who calls from West London. Emily, welcome to TalkSport. Hello.
Hiya.
Hello. I've got on the screen in front of me that you said you wanted to begin by saying, I'm not a racist, but...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Suna's with us as well. Suna, who works with refugees organisations, as you've heard. Emily, so your point is you're not a racist, but what?
But the thing is these people are coming from here, there and everywhere, yeah? And my mum, she's lived in London all her life. She's been through the wars and everything. But they're now saying that they can't rehouse her. But when them people are here, they're getting rehoused like there's no tomorrow. I mean, you know, my mum's lived in this country all her life.
Yes. When you say here, there, and everywhere, presumably you don't really know where refugees to this country actually do come from.
Well, I mean, I haven't got problems with refugees at all.
I'm actually asking you whether you do know where they come from.
Yeah, I know where they're from, but at the moment...
Where are they from then?
Siberia.
Siberia?
And...
The Siberian refugee problem.
And...
Siberia.
Well, I can't think of the other place.
Bloody hell, Emily, where is Siberia? Can you position Siberia on a world map to within 5,000 miles? Where is Siberia, dear?
Well, to be quite honest, I ain't got a clue.
You don't even know where Siberia is, but that's where the refugees are coming from.
Yeah, no, but what I'm trying to put a point across is that why people like that.
The Siberians.
Well, whoever, basically, whoever's coming, as long as, you know, whoever they are.
Yes.
Are getting rehoused.
Like there's no tomorrow, I believe was your phrase.
Yeah.
Yes. When you say like there's no tomorrow, Emily, can you be any more accurate in your judgment, telling us about your judgment on how easy or quickly refugees from Siberia are rehoused?
Well, not even from Siberia, just from anywhere.
No, but can you tell us with any accuracy how long and how difficult the process is or otherwise?
Yeah, I can.
How?
I mean... Basically, I have been up the council with my mum and...
No, the Siberian refugees, dear, who are getting their homes like there's no tomorrow.
Well, all they have to do is go up the council and basically it's done.
Okay.
If it's not all right, maybe if it's not a flat or whatever, but they're being rehoused in a hotel.
Go up the council and it's done. Okay, Suna.
Okay, let me tell you a real-life story, Emily. Hi, I think your mum has lived in London for all her life, and are you English?
Yeah.
You are. Okay. Now, you say that they get housing just like that. Let me give you a real-life story. We are looking after a guy who has got a wife and a son who is depressed, and his GP and the other doctors are trying so hard to convince the Home Office this guy cannot be dispersed from London because he cannot live alone. We have now 3 people round the clock voluntarily looking after him because it's dangerous for him to be alone. He tried to kill himself 3 times, and they haven't given him a house. They're still trying to send him somewhere, some village in Leeds or somewhere else. Okay? It's not easy to get a house. They don't get a house just like that. And I would like to ask you, have you ever met or talked to any refugee, any asylum seeker?
Yeah, I have.
You have?
Yeah,
they told you about their luxurious life in London?
Well, to be quite honest, one of my best friends.
Well, you see, that's another thing that I really don't like. You remember the things about black people. One of my best, I'm not a racist, one of my best friends is black. That's really out of question. You can't tell me that one of your best friends is refugee. That doesn't make you right. Because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I do, though.
Yeah, no.
The point I'm trying to put across is, as I said to you, one of my best friends is a refugee, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And they was in London or wherever, England, no longer than 2 weeks, and then they were rehoused.
And in 2 weeks, you became he or she became your best friend. We went. It was sort of school things. It was it was her family and that. But what I'm saying is how they got rehoused within the matter of 2-3 weeks from being in this country. My mum's been in this country 64 years, and they still won't rehouse her. Now, let me tell you something. I cannot believe that because I have been dealing with hundreds of cases, and it's not easy for anybody to get a house now. Not refugees, not even, English people, because there aren't enough houses, and I understand that. And you can't say they just get the housing like that. Believe me, they are not. I mean, we have refugees living in a condition. When we took the pictures and when we take them to counsel to court, the judge was appalled because he said no human being can live in that condition. This is a house in Hackney, and this family was made to live in that condition for about 2 years. And the lady who is in question cannot walk because she's paralyzed. Do you understand? We have cases like that, many of them like that. And let me tell you, they don't dry up this country. You have to understand this country gets funding for refugees from different organizations such as United Nations, Human Rights in Geneva, and European funds.
So I'm very grateful for your call. You've given me an awful lot to think about, and furnished, I think, everybody listening, myself included, and everybody here at the Talksport studios with a lot of valuable information, which you expressed very clearly, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you for your call.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I wonder if there's anybody listening who is a racist and who's intelligent. Because you don't meet many of them. In fact, I can't think I've ever met one. Really? Yeah? You know what I mean? 08700 40 50 60 is the telephone number. Irene is on the line now from Glasgow. Irene, welcome to Talk Sport.
I'll give you 2 facts, Tommy, without comment. And then, if I may, I will give you a short opinion. Radio 4, early morning news, 2 weeks ago, roughly. I didn't take note of the actual day because I didn't know that I'd be phoning you about this. Radio 4 early morning news said that 4 or 5, I can't be sure which, towns in England were now predominantly ethnic. And 4 out of 5 people in London were now of ethnic origin. All politicians, when I mean all politicians from all parties, have admitted, even the Labour government, that there are refugees in this country, many, many, many thousands of them, that they have completely lost track of. They don't know where they are. And that was stated no later than last night on Any Questions. Now, these are facts.
By whom?
I've already told you, Tommy.
No, on Any Questions.
Don't try and trip me up on any questions. By
Who?
Darling from the Labour Party and Angela Browning from the Conservative Party. This has been carefully documented in the press.
No, I was watching...
Don't say what paper when. Was it raining that day?
Irene, we're either having a conversation or you're not playing.
No, well, look, one more thing I've got to say,
No,
please.
darling, Irene, darling, it's my show.
I know.
I'll do what I bloody well like, and I'm not going to sit and listen to you talking rubbish.
Well, I'm not talking... Well, take it up with Radio 4.
Oh, as if I'm going to phone Radio 4. I've got a life, for God's sake. What are you doing listening to Radio 4 anyway?
It's early morning. Phone them up. Ask them if that was on the news.
Irene, can we have a... Irene, we're either having a conversation...
Well, I hope we are.
Well, in that case, then can we?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Good, fine.
I've only got one small
Irene,
sentence.
shut up and have a conversation with me.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, over to you.
Well, no, over to you.
Well, can I add my final sentence?
No. That's not, because this is not, what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing is you're on a...
Okay, the Cabinet's wrong, the government's wrong,
No.
Radio 4 is wrong, the papers are wrong.
No.
Only you are right. And this is the problem.
Irene, concentrate.
This is the problem.
Irene, concentrate. What is wrong?
I can concentrate.
All right, well,
Yeah, sure.
What is wrong is that you are not willing to have a conversation.
I gave you facts. You wanted facts.
No, I want a conversation.
Oh, so you've changed your mind. Well, I'll give you a conversation.
I never asked you for facts.
No, you asked that man for facts.
Yes, and he couldn't give me them.
Well, I'm giving you them.
I didn't ask you.
Well, I'm giving you them.
I don't want them.
Okay. Well, can I give you an opinion?
No.
And it's not personal opinion.
No, you
Not
can't.
personal.
We can have a conversation.
Well, can I have a conversation and add a sentence?
See, your job, you've got an agenda.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
Yes,
Go
you
to my
have.
bed when
You've
I happen
got
to
an
listen to
agenda.
you.
You've got
I
an
haven't.
agenda.
But I don't
And
like
you don't
people
know
not
what it...
knowing facts,
well,
Tommy.
there's your
You should argue
agenda.
on facts. Facts is what you should be arguing about, not opinions. Facts.
That's my point entirely.
And it's
you
my
are,
point.
But your point...
And any people that are
jeez.
disallowed
Oh,
from expressing
shut
an opinion,
up! For goodness sake!
then they are
You
you are
dreadful old
creating.
Billy.
You're creating
Honestly,
a problem.
you're thick.
No.
Then
no, I'm
you-
not thick. With an honours degree in Latin and maths,
Then
I could
you-
match you any day, Tommy.
Well, in that case,
any
then,
day.
if you're that intelligent,
illogical.
let's have...
You are
Irene,
not logical,
let's
Tommy.
have you listening.
I'm listening.
Let's have a conversation.
Oh, would you hurry up and let me have it?
No, you do not have a conversation. We have a conversation.
Well, would you let us have it?
That's what I'm trying to achieve.
Well, say something. Say something interesting. Say something based on facts.
You see, you're
and
not
in your
doing it.
opinion.
You're not doing it now.
Oh,
If you can't have a conversation, you are not entitled to
you
be
say this
on
to
a
everybody,
program
Tommy.
like
You
this.
say this to everybody when you're stuck. When you're
Stuck
stuck.
for what?
When you're stuck, you say this
Stuck
to everybody.
for what,
you
darling?
trip them up. You try
I'll
to
tell you
trip
what.
them up.
I'll tell you what I believe.
you won't
Shall I
trip
tell you
me
what
up,
I believe?
Tommy.
I'll tell you what. I'm not trying to trip you up.
You are. You are.
Jesus Christ, you haven't got a clue about having a conversation, have you? I would be quite interested
Mm-hmm.
in exploring
Okay.
with you
Mm-hmm.
to find out what is wrong with your ideas.
Nothing wrong. I'm quoting BBC Radio 4.
No, not your facts, your ideas.
Well, this is my idea. That
And
any
I'd be quite
country
happy if
that
you
does
were
not
prepared
allow
to
free
explore
expression
with
is a
me
dictatorship.
what is wrong with my ideas.
Because you don't
But the
allow
only
free
way
expression.
that you can do that is
You
if
don't
we
allow
have
free
a
expression.
conversation. No, I'm not asking
don't
for
allow
free
dissent.
expression. I don't allow free expression.
No, you
No,
don't.
I don't. Of course
Anybody
I
who
don't.
disagrees with you,
Of course I don't.
you
Of course.
try to trip them up.
Of course I do, you fool. What do you think this
A
is?
fool.
What do you think this is?
A
It's a
degree in
phone-in
Latin
show.
and maths, and I'm a fool.
Yes, you are. It's a phone-in show. This is what
Uh-huh.
happens. And the idea of it is, more than anything else, to get people like you on their high horse.
I'm
and
not on a
I have.
high horse.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
I got you.
You haven't
You
got
fell
me.
for it.
You'll never get
I got
me.
you.
You'll never
I drew
get
you
me.
to the phone.
You'll
I
never
made you
get
come on.
me, Tommy.
I got you upset.
You never got the
I
pilot,
got you
and you'll
angry.
never get me.
I got you upset.
You'll never
And
get
you're
me. I'm
struggling
not
now.
upset.
And now you're on
I'm
the
not
ropes.
struggling. And I
And
could
now
talk
you
to you
bloody
for
know.
24
And now you-
hours
now
and not
you could
struggle.
talk at
Not
me.
struggle
At
one
me.
bit.
But what you would do is offend a lot of racists because they don't
Oh.
need people like you batting for them.
You are, look, by damping down on free expression, you are creating racists. Do you not understand that?
Explain.
Any civilization...
Explain it.
Well, I
Explain
will.
it. Explain it.
Any
No, wait,
country-
before you do, go back,
Okay.
explain what you just said again, and then verify it.
Any country that does not allow free expression...
No, go back and say what it is you're going to prove again.
This is what I'm proving. That you are creating racism.
Yes, no, well, explain that. Give us that again.
Because
so that
you're
we know the
making people
proposition.
so frustrated.
No.
You're not allowing them to say their point. You're
Go-
not giving them free expression.
Go back and say what it is that you're going to now prove.
I've proved it.
No, you...
I proved it. You're not allowing people free expression.
And that causes
And
racism.
therefore you are creating racism.
Now, okay, now we...
You are
Irene,
making them frustrated.
Irene, if I may, all right, you're rubbish at this.
Too good for you, Tommy.
Yeah,
Too
because-
good for you.
Okay.
Answer that point that I've made.
No, well, make it again and make it clearly.
Does it take me to say it 3 times before you understand it?
No,
right,
it's
here it
you
comes.
that
Number
I want
4.
to understand.
By
By
not allowing
Not
people
allowing people
free
free
expression,
expression.
whether it be you or the government or the newspapers or whatever,
Yeah.
be it about racism or hunting or the World Trade Organization, whatever,
Yeah.
by damping down
Yeah.
and not allowing free expression,
Yeah.
you are creating the very problem
Yeah.
that you seek to solve.
Right, okay. Now, that is the first decent contribution you've made in how long
You
have you
wouldn't
been
let
on?
me say it.
How long have you been on?
I tried to say it about 10 minutes ago,
No,
and
you
you wouldn't
didn't.
let me say
No,
it.
you didn't. You were talking rubbish.
I
until
gave
then.
you facts,
No, you
and
didn't.
then I said
No,
I'll
you
give you an
didn't.
opinion.
No, you didn't. You talked absolute cobblers.
Oh,
until
come
then.
on, Tommy.
No,
come
listen
on.
to me.
That works for your other
I'm
people
giving
who phone
you.
in. It
I'm
doesn't
giving.
work for me.
Yeah, look.
Come on.
Stay with me then.
Be logical.
I'm being logical, but
Okay.
you didn't mean be logical. You see, that was a wasted word.
Rational.
That's how good I want to be.
Rational.
No,
If that
rational
suits you
still isn't
better.
quite right. You're still not quite up to my speed, but you're getting there. Now, you just, after about 20 minutes...
Yeah, that's
of
cost
talking
me. That's cost
rubbish.
me to speak to you.
Yeah, well, all right, then clear off then.
No,
Do you want to stay?
not until you've answered my point, which you cannot answer.
Right, okay.
You
now,
can't answer, or you would have done it.
What? Now, are you going to listen
Yes,
to the answer?
I'm going to listen.
Okay. We'll see about that, because besides struggling with your groundless facts,
I never struggled.
besides taking 20 minutes of free expression
Of trying to get you to listen.
to getting a decent sentence off your chest, okay, I think you've got a big problem with people skills.
I think you've got a big problem with people's skills because you just will not
Now, if
listen
we come
to
back
anyone.
now to this point that you made, all right, which I'd like you just to make again so that we can refocus on your point.
Right. My point in essence is this. That if any people of any country feel that their free expression has been disallowed, what will result will be frustration. What will be result will be a hardening of opposing opinions. And what will result will be the very creation of the problem that those who seek to stop them saying it are trying to solve.
Okay.
In other words, you are creating it.
All right,
You're
now-
helping
all right.
to create it.
Okay, now let me just put you straight on a very important point.
Right.
Okay. I am not here to make the world a better place. I am not on the radio in order to improve either humanity or one single individual. I've worked in broadcasting long enough to be absolutely certain, and I'm on home ground when I say this,
Yeah.
that broadcasting does not change a person or a person's opinion one iota.
Oh, I think it can.
If I may finish, and I did say, as a broadcaster,
Mm-hmm.
of peerless experience,
Ah, well, I know you have.
I am certain of what I have just said. If I may finish?
Of course.
Thank you. I'm at work. I know my job. You don't.
But you don't know
If
people,
I can
Tommy.
finish.
You know
if
your
I can
job, but you
finish,
don't know your
If
audience.
I can finish.
You don't know your audience.
Oh, gee. If I can finish.
Uh-huh.
And since you raise it, the job depends on nothing more or less than knowing your audience.
I don't know. I think you misjudge them quite a lot.
When was the last time you were on the radio?
Oh, listen, I've applauded you. I've told...
Yeah, all right, Irene,
Fish, and I admired you and thanked you for all your views.
Oh, shut up. For God's sake,
But
woman.
you've got a blind spot.
Shut up and listen, will
You've got a
you?
blind spot.
Will you be quiet and listen?
Racist, no matter
Will
what
you be
they
quiet
say.
and listen to me so you learn something?
Racist.
Will
People are
you be
sick of it.
No, look, Irene, if you do that again, I'm going to have to let you go.
I don't care, Tommy. You just...
Oh, well, in that case, then you've got to go. Because I hadn't finished what I was going to say.
Well, I beg
which
your
is
pardon.
something that you
Please
needed to
finish.
learn. Right. Because you are suffering from a serious misapprehension.
All right. Put me right.
Okay. My job is not to make the world a better place. I don't have the arrogance that maybe you have.
Oh, come on.
In thinking... Let me finish.
Come on.
In thinking that you're going to do a bit of good by...
I try to.
Shut up and listen. By blathering away on the radio. I am here purely and solely as an act of show business.
Right.
To get an audience.
Right.
To get people to the phone who have lost it.
I know what you mean, so it doesn't really matter if any of us phone in or not. Doesn't matter what we say. Is that what you're saying? It's of no importance.
All right, I'll go round it again, Irene. And you do know what I mean. This isn't going to make the world a better place.
Okay.
Nobody's going to learn anything from what you've said, but people have kind of enjoyed us having an argument.
I hope so.
Yeah. But don't you run away with the idea that you've done any good and that I do any harm.
I was only giving you facts, Tommy. You're a great one for facts, and I was giving you
darling, if I may come back to that, then, as a journalist, what you said still didn't amount to a fact.
Well, phone up Radio 4.
No, for God's sake, don't say that again. You do it.
They'll confirm it.
Why the hell do members of the public like you think that people like me have got nothing to do on a Monday morning? You're the same as all these people who email me saying, "Dear Tommy, if you just care to go down to your local library and get out an encyclopedia." I've got a life, and I've got all the facts that I need to verify the opinions that I've got. When other people,
opinions.
Yes.
You said we shouldn't argue on opinions.
No.
You said we should argue on facts.
No, I didn't.
And now you're saying you don't have facts, you've only got opinions.
I didn't say that.
Tommy,
either.
I'm going to do you a favour before your final...
No, you got to go. Hopeless. Terrible woman. 08700 40 50 60. I'll just explain again. I have opinions which I'm prepared to change. I base them on solid facts. I am not... Why is it that people of a certain generation actually think that people are on the radio for 3 hours or 4 hours in the evening, then are sitting around twiddling their thumbs for the rest of the week? For God's sake. Phone Radio 4. How's that going to work? Anybody who hasn't got the brains to realise that that doesn't happen and never will happen can scarcely pitch up to the radio and say, "Let me tell you like it is." If you don't realise that broadcasters don't ring rival grotty radio stations, who obviously can't express themselves on their morning programme or whatever she was talking about sufficiently for her to get the facts the first time round or the 10th time round, because no doubt they'll have repeated it 10 times. 08700 40 50 60. Still, it's always good for a bit of banter, isn't it? Race relations. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talksport. Talksport's Friday evening phone-in. I'm Tommy Boyd. 08700 40 50 60. Taking calls on, please, the whole great range of concerns and interests and sources of amusement which delight, inspire and confound us. This evening, however, our first caller to this part of the phone-in, the sort of general phone-in, at 11 o'clock, had a mysterious story to tell. He happened to have been in his local McDonald's at 8:30 in the morning. So I wasn't drunk, he said. Yeah. When he saw a T-Reg transit van, he remembers that, out of which, he said, got some 8 women, who one of whom went up to somebody else sat in this McDonald's and put a card down on the table, which they began to read. He then gesticulated to this woman, "Airport," upon which she picked up her card and scurried away. And that, he felt, spoke enough to illustrate that these people really are bleeding his beloved city, which was Reading, dry. From there, then, has descended, and I use the word descended consciously, a whole range of conversations and insights into the human condition. And a lot of young men are really worried that they might lose their job as a painter and decorator's assistant. It means an awful lot to them that they've got their enough money to buy their 8 pints of lager a night. And I do think that they believe that one person coming into this country it might take their job because he will work harder and he will work for less, and it's a simple fear of unemployment. That's how it seems to me a lot of the time, but it certainly doesn't explain it all. I agree.
No, I just find it quite amazing how ignorant a lot of people are, and they just get taken in and they just completely believe these sort of things like this. And I just think, oh my God, what are you basing this on?
Well, somebody's emailed Terry in Grimsby, I understand, to say that there was a chap on a while back on this show called Dean who had seen some figures in the Daily Telegraph, although he couldn't remember quite what they were, but it proved that this country was a soft touch and that the floodgates had been opened. Hundreds of thousands, he said, of asylum seekers were coming to this country. Well, I've got the Telegraph in front of me, and the actual figure is less than 100,000. If you've got a point of view and you get your facts fundamentally wrong like that, then you have to be shown the door. What I understand, according to Terry, who's emailed from Grimsby, is that the article also says somewhere tucked away that 76,000 applications were turned down.
That's it. That's the part that nobody ever hears about, though.
It hardly falls into line with the idea that this country is a soft touch. And, of course, the thing is this, you can't have it both ways. If you live in a country whose economy is thriving, if you live in a country that's a beautiful country, if you live in a country that lots of people would want to come to, and do want to come to, then if you're the kind of person who likes to be proud because of your country, then, hey, be proud. Because obviously it's a wonderful country. And if that turns you on, let it. Have that orgasm, for God's sake. Not me, because it's not my country. It's just another one. But, we're all different.
Okay. Thanks, then. Okay.
Glad
bye.
you rang. Nice to talk to you. Maybe we can broaden the thing just a little bit. Race relations is good. We're not going to solve anything this evening, but it's always interesting to know who's out there, isn't it? And to hear once again what they think. But we go to Mickey now, who calls from Newcastle, perhaps with something much more important.
Yeah, Tommy?
Mickey?
Yeah. What it is, I'm ringing up about our rabbit, right?
Ah, right.
Right, I mean, my kids are very concerned about it because it's a family pet, it's an indoor rabbit.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping to do is, anybody who knows about them, or I don't know if you know anything about them, but what's happened is, within the night, it's been scratching, on each side of its tail at the back. And it's took the fur off. And it's just scratching and scratching continuously. And it hasn't broke the skin or anything, it's just took it right down to the skin level. And we're just wondering why it's doing that, I mean, it's healthy, it's eating, it's drinking, and it's fit. But
you haven't taken it to the vet?
No, as I say, we've just noticed tonight, we're concerned about it.
Well, can you get it to the vet tomorrow?
Yeah, we could get it to the vet tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if anybody knows, just to ease our mind, well, it could be, you know, just for the night.
Yeah.
Because, as I say, the kids have just lost their budgie recently, you know, and they were really upset, you know.
No joke, is it?
No,
The trouble with pets, isn't it? They die.
It's so loving, this animal, you know. I mean, he's got it doing tricks and everything, you know. It's really attached, you know, and it'll break his heart if it happens to this.
Mm.
I mean, you have got my number, you know, if anybody rings up.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
I mean, you've got my permission to hand the number over to them, you know.
Well, okay, well, we would be cautious about that, Mickey, because, you know, even if it's rabbits, and your rabbit's obviously got an itchy patch, you can't be too careful when it comes to giving out people's telephone numbers, because you just don't know who's out there. But you never know, Mickey. Somebody may be listening who knows a thing or three about rabbits, and they might be able to help. And I didn't know there were indoor rabbits. Did you? That's interesting. 08700 40 50 60. Maybe the rabbit just wants to go doing what wild rabbits do. Maybe the rabbit actually wants to go running around, you know, like Watership Down. Doesn't want to be in a living room in Newcastle. Because you can't really get indoor rabbits, can you? 08700 40 50 60. And how's that come about? Domesticated rabbits? Let's go to Keith. He's mobile in Yorkshire.
I'm there with you now.
Hi, Keith.
I'm just pulling up at the side of the road to be legal.
Cool.
No, but basically, just listening to the comments of one or two people that you've had on the show, you know, before.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I literally had to call in because I'm sat here absolutely boiling.
Yeah.
Because everybody seems to be concerned about, you know, racism, you know, illegal immigrants, all the rest of it. Don't you think it's about time that we actually started thinking about our own people? You know, we've got the people at Vauxhall who are, you know, basically just going to, you know, lose all the jobs. We've got factories closing left, right and centre. Don't you think that if a lot more people started and cared about the industry that's basically disappearing, we might do a lot better for this country than trying to think about every other cause that everybody wants to think about?
I don't think it does people any good to start worrying about other people who have got to go and find another job.
Well, it's... I think, you know, to be honest, if you're one of those people, I mean, obviously you're in a fortunate position by which, you know, you're not going to be looking where things are coming from. I mean, in reality, you know, the employment prospects at this moment in time for people who are in anything other than computer or IT...
No, where you're going is that's not true. This country's economy hasn't been healthier in your lifetime.
Well, can I quote you an instance then? Because, you know, literally
because instances don't really amount to anything.
Well, all right, I'll pass you a fact then. I'll pass you a fact. We have an industry, a foundry industry.
No,
just bear with me. You're telling me there's no case to this. Basically, we had over 2,500 foundries, you know, heavy industry within this country less than 10 years ago. It's now down to 400.
Because times have changed, and we don't need those things anymore.
We don't need them, but we're actually importing from China, from Poland.
Yeah, well, they make them cheaper then, don't they?
So basically, we just put everybody out of a job.
It doesn't work like that, and you know it. If the people who are working these factories, I don't know what exactly you're talking about, but listen, mate, times change, right? Times change. And it's tough on some people, and that's just how it is.
The American economy does not work that way because basically they protect their own people, and it's about time that we started to think the same way as do a lot of other European countries.
Yeah, but this is sloppy again, Keith, because you're just this thing about we. Who's we? Who do you mean by we? You? Me?
The British people.
There is no such thing as the British people. It doesn't work like that, man. You've got you, right? And like an awful lot of people who aren't really very happy inside, you spend a lot of time trying to convince yourself that you're a noble soul, because if only people would listen to you, everything will be better. And that's cobblers.
To be honest, I've never heard such a load of drivel in all my life.
Well, let's go through it again, shall we? Bit by bit. You're a dissatisfied, unhappy individual.
I'm quite happy with my own life.
Well, stop moaning then.
I'm
Stop whinging.
I know.
And stop telling other people
Well, sorry?
Stop telling other people what they ought to be doing.
As I say, I feel very, very sorry for you because basically, you know, as I say...
No, you don't. That's a lie.
Well,
you don't
basically,
feel
I
sorry
think you're
for
a
me.
prat.
Yeah, but you don't feel sorry for me.
Well, I do because,
No, you
you know,
don't.
to be in a position where you are,
No, that doesn't... You don't
You
feel
know,
sorry
with a-
for me, pal. You feel envious.
you're joking.
Yeah?
You are joking.
Well, that's how you're coming across. What your trouble is, you don't know yourself how your own mind works, and you certainly can't express, therefore, what you really believe, because you're not quite sure yourself. You don't understand yourself.
I understand exactly where I'm coming from. As I say, whether you are trying to antagonise me, whether you're trying to do whatever, I
No,
don't
I'm
know.
just tired. Look, if you do a phone-in program, you get really bored with people coming out with the same old tosh year after year after year. And now is there this your thing here now, which is that we ought to look after ourselves, and that the country's going down the drain, and unemployment is rearing its ugly head, and the big machine industries are going to the wall. This country has never been in better shape. If that wasn't the case, then William Hague would raise it once, ever, on Prime Minister's Question Time, but he never does. And that's because he knows, right, that this country has never been in better shape. Never been in... But my darling, it just is. It's in fantastic shape.
I don't know where you were looking. I mean, as I say, you obviously, you know, like to treat people. As I say, as, you know, as somebody which, you know, I can express myself.
No, you tell me about how bad the country is then. Go on, you love it. People like you love it. The country's going to the dogs.
Well, no, as I say...
It's not. And all the young people listening to this, you know, like you had to listen to people having a moan, because the British people like a bloody good moan. And when you were little, you heard people saying how terrible things were and how awful they are, and the government this and the government that. And now you've caught the bug. And if you're not careful, you're going to infect the young people whose lives lie ahead of them and whose opportunity for happiness is there to be taken, as long as they don't get exposed to too many hand dogs like yourself.
So when you're actually involved in actually going out to do valuations on companies, which I am, and the companies are... No. I'm actually going out to do valuations on companies which are basically having to remortgage, and they're having to have equipment within the factories remortgaged because financially they are struggling as badly as they are. Then, you know, you're going to tell me that those companies are going to turn around and say that everything's honky-dory?
No, I didn't say that, and I haven't said that, and where you got that from is a tribute to your own imagination. What I said was...
But you've said the economy has never been in a better condition.
Correct. I didn't say that there aren't companies going to the wall, you fool. Where'd you get that from? Hey, where'd you get that from?
Excuse me, did I insult you?
Yes, you insulted me by saying I was saying things that I wasn't saying. That's a deep insult to me.
Well, as I
Because
say,
you can't listen to... If you phone somebody up and you can't listen to what they're saying, why waste your call?
Well, you're showing your intelligence when you've got to insult somebody and call them a fool.
Well, I'd like this to crack on a little bit. You're not learning anything.
Well, no, as I say...
And you don't want to, because you want to sit there. Look, I'll say it again, and I'll say what I've... Look, oh, jeez. Let me apologise to the listener for a second. I'm terribly sorry if you're so intelligent that this is really annoying you. It's annoying me as well, but here we go again. The economy has never been in better shape. You seem to think that means that there is no such thing as a company that's going to the wall. Of course a company will go to the wall.
The
Of course
economy
that
has
will
never
happen.
been in a better condition, purely simply because there are certain...
Oh, it is now
certain sectors...
It is now hunky-dory, is it?
No, well, you're saying it. As I say, there are certain sectors which are basically giving a misleading picture.
Is the economy strong?
Sorry?
Is the economy strong?
Well, you're saying it is.
Is it?
I wouldn't have said so, no.
Give me the facts. Give me the figures. Tell me about inflation. Tell me about interest rates. Tell me about unemployment. Tell me about the balance of payments. Tell me about the 16 billion, if you believe it, that's sitting waiting to be spent. Tell me about it. Tell me about the economic problems we've got at the moment. Tell me about them.
But we have, as regards to manufacturing industry, the manufacturing industry is in decline.
Yeah, because we don't want to manufacture things anymore. That's old hat. Let them do that in Taiwan. We're a service industry now. You know that.
That's fine, providing it doesn't turn full circle, which it will do.
You
Because
are.
all of these countries will eventually come to the same. Hey,
can you not recognise? Sorry to interrupt, Keith. I've heard people like you so many times. Can you not see that you do enjoy being a doom-mongerer? Here we are, in the most successful time in this country's history, ever, okay? And there are still people like you, intelligent people who do responsible jobs, who want to scare the living daylights out of people.
yes, because before people realise it, there's going to be no manufacturing facilities whatsoever
We've done
within
this
the
one,
country.
Keith. It doesn't matter. I don't want my son on a lathe.
As I say, I've got to be honest, I don't particularly want to waste any more time on this because, you know, as I say, it's people like you that will basically finish this country.
There you go, you see. Well, I don't know where you got... He's gone. Well, you see, now, where does a bloke get that sort of defeatism and, I don't know, sort of, you know, raw lemon view of the world? It is an unfortunate fact. It will hack a lot. It will piss off an awful lot of people. But the fact of the matter remains, there's never been a better time to be British than right now. It just happens to have all fallen into place. It just does. It's just the best time to be a British person. Okay? Now, you see, I suppose especially if you're a Yorkshireman like that last caller, that ain't going to make you a happy bunny. But it is a fact. And young people listening to this ought to hear it and ought to feel good about that fact. The future is looking great. You're very lucky. Enjoy. A lot of people have worked their fingers to the bone. A lot of people have had a lot of tears and heartache. But things are looking pretty good. And you lot, the younger people listening, will go on and make it better. Good on you. 08700 40 50 60. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talksport.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.